Alright guys, Professor T is back here with yet another video. Today we are going to talk about the concept of role of money in economics. So this lesson is complementary to the previous videos that I've recorded and should give you a better understanding of money and how it's related with capital and well, you'll find out. So without any further ado, let's get started. So basically, not this one, this is for the next lesson. Let me come here, yeah, this one, right. Alright guys, so we just presented. So Economics 101, many lesson money, right? So basically, I would like to start you off by asking you this one very simple question. Which of the following is an example of a factor of production? How many of you actually recognize this question? I'm curious. Alright, first try to solve it. Give yourself a few seconds, pause the video if you want. I'll give you 5 seconds anyways. Alright, so let me go on about how you might have encountered this problem. So first of all, you looked at the options, you discarded washing machine because you know washing machine cannot produce anything. It's a consumer good. The concept was explained in the previous video, so if you have not watched it, watch it right now. And then you looked at credit card, well, you thought, well, card may or may not have money and it's just a card. Well, even if it has money, it doesn't change anything. So credit card and washing machine are eliminated, they are not a factor of production. Now, well, you looked at the last two options, which were a £1 coin and a spare piece of land, and here you were probably slightly confused. Well, should it be the £1 coin or a spare piece of land? So at this point you need to understand if money is an example of a factor of production or not. Well, so those of you who chose spare piece of land, congratulations, that's the right answer. And a £1 coin is not the correct answer, and don't worry if you got it wrong. I'll be explaining you why it's not the right answer in full depth. So, before that, I would like you to answer these 3 questions. That's the last 3 questions I would ask you to answer. It's basically just true or false. So, do you think money is a factor of production? Do you think money is an example of a factor of production? Money is a capital good. Well, there is a word play in the first two questions, and I'll be explaining you what they mean. Alright, so if you understood them very well, if you didn't, well, no problems. So you might have paused the video by now. Well, if you haven't, try to do it. If you haven't found the answers yet. Alright, so let's move on to the answers. So basically, money is not a factor of production. Money is not an example of a factor of production. Money is a capital good. Let me explain now, one by one. So money is not a factor of production. So we know there are only 4 factors of production. What are they? Land, labor, capital and enterprise. There is no other factor of production. Land, labor, capital and enterprise. Should not forget them. Land, labor, capital, enterprise. Land includes all the natural resources, not just the physical land. Labor is the workers who would combine the resources. Capital is the investment in man-made goods that aids the production of goods and services. And enterprise is the one who combines, who brings up with the initial idea. Of course. Now, so we know money is not a factor of production. I just explained why. So money is an example of a factor of production. So this is a very tricky statement. So now what you need to understand is you just need to see so can money produce anything by itself? Well, the answer is no, yeah, right? As I explained in the previous video, money cannot produce anything. Well, can you make this out of money? Can you make this out of money? You can't. So hence, it's not an example of a factor of production. Now, the question is money a capital good? And this is true. And now let me explain you why. So, well, you might say, if money is a capital good, then it should also be an example of a factor of production, since capital is a factor of production. Well, now I should explain you why. So, when in this question we say a factor of production, well, we know that it should be able to produce something physically, right? With any good or services, but it cannot. However, money is a very special case of capital. The reason is that money can facilitate exchange of goods and services. It cannot produce them. However, it is required to facilitate the exchange of goods and services. Hence, it's a very special case of a capital good. I know it might sound a little bit tricky. However, if you go through this video, this is a very short video. So if you go through this like once or twice, maybe, I think you should get the concept easily. It's not, so let me just recap it quickly. It's not a factor of production because there are only 4 factors of production. I named them. You should be able to name them by yourself. It's not an example of a factor of production because it cannot physically produce anything, and it's a capital good. It's a very special case of capital good because it's the only special case of special case of capital good because it can facilitate exchange of goods and services. That's all you needed to know. That's when we come to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, I mean, it won't hurt to put a like, would it? And well, subscribe if you like as well. I mean, I'm going to cover the whole economics course and try to save your time, etc. Alright, so if you enjoyed the video, thank you very much. Stay tuned. I'll meet you in the next video.